Hello, my friends on YouTube. Today is uh, Sunday, March 12th, 23. Today's video is called Aisha 6, comma, 9, comma, and 18. Uh, the two largest groups of Islam is the Sunni. This is about 73% of the Muslim are Sunni, whereas about 23% Shiite, and they both hate they both hate each other. And if you want to know about one group of these two, go to the opposite, because they have the history and they know what exactly happened. So if one group is trying to hide one thing, if you want the truth, take it from the other. Okay? Before we start, I'm going to answer a couple of questions. Al Amir, he is asking about the story of the marriage of Aisha with the founder of Islam. If there was a special banquet or uh, ceremony or what have you. Reality, at least at this time, from what I read, there was nothing real. I think the tradition was the family and friends come in the house of the parent, uh, and they eat and drink and enjoy the evening, and then the couple get married. That is in the case of Aisha. However, when Aisha was getting married, the story says that she was playing. The day of marriage, she doesn't know, 9 years old. She's playing. And they took her, they washed her, they combed her hair, they get her ready, and a child. Her mother is giving her a bath, so big deal. And then they took her to that place where the bridegroom preside. She opened the door. I think he was either naked or half naked, whatever. The story says that she was shocked. I'm sure she saw him before, but on that day, she was shocked. So something was there. Even though the story does not say, but you can imagine it. At 9 years old, she, if she sees a leader, because he was the leader on a regular basis, but on that day, seeing him, she was shocked. So that is the situation. The other situation that I read about, it was his marriage with Khadija, the first wife. And many people know that the first wife was Christian. And therefore, I believe that's a very interesting story. I believe because if she was Christian, she was aware of the Old Testament. And in the Old Testament, if you read the story, because I see similarity, the story of Jacob getting married to what was supposed to have been the younger daughter of his uncle Laban, and her name was Rachel. Rachel. He wanted to marry Rachel, the younger daughter of his uncle. However, his uncle had a different plan. He wanted the older daughter to get married, and Jacob didn't want the older daughter. He loved the younger daughter. So Laban played a game with Jacob, which was he gave him a lot of alcohol beverage, wine or something, until he didn't know if it was morning or night. He kept drinking, and when he passed out, he gave him the older daughter, Leah. In the morning, he wakes up, he looks, that's not Rebecca, that's Leah. He goes out to his uncle. What did you do? He said, hey, you took her. This is the one you took in your hand and you went with her, so it's too late. This what Khadija practically done. Khadija was a very wealthy woman. Her father was a very wealthy man. They were from a rich merchant family. But because of her age, she was 40 and she married twice before. The first husband divorced her, the second husband died, and she doesn't really have a good chance to get somebody from her level to marry her. 40 years old at this time, 40 years old, that's quite old. You don't, for a woman especially, you don't get a decent man, because a man who is wealthy to marry her would say, why should I marry you? If I want, I can go and buy a young girl, a slave. I enjoy better. Uh, so she didn't have much luck, but there was this guy who nobody wanted him. So let me tell him I marry you. Hey, it was a good chance for him. Instead of working like a slave guy or a servant, I'll be pushed up to meet those businessmen. So he accepted. However, the father of Khadija cannot accept such marriage. It's better to stay single. You don't marry this guy. But what Khadija did was she gave him wine. She imitated the story of Jacob. She gave him a lot of drink until he passed, like he didn't know what's going on. And the friends and relatives sitting, and she told him, Father, Muhammad and I were going to get married. And yeah, okay. He doesn't know what he was unaware. So there are witnesses here now, relatives and friends, but it was not like five-star hotel. Normally the friends and families, like maybe 10, 15 people. That's how it was. So he married she married him. In the morning her father wanted to kill him, and she told him, there are witnesses, and you do that, you are going to embarrass yourself, embarrass me, so cut it, it's over, it's done. That was how the two marriages have been done. After that, all the marriages that happen is just any woman wants to offer herself, you can come and quickly, Allah, let's go. Quickly, let's go. Okay, that's about the marriage of Aisha. Uh, there is a question about, or a comment about the Muslim Brotherhood. They gather donation, and because they are a terrorist group, we should actually stop them, or stop, like the government should interfere and stop them. I believe in freedom. You see, for example, I spoke last time about the group that believe that the earth is flat. And they are scientists. But they are not affecting me. And if they are gathering donation from the people who believe the same thing to propagate their idea, I don't care. They are not bothering me. If another group wants to prove that the earth is cubical or triangular or what have you, go ahead and you can solicit donation. I think we have to make distinction here between gathering donation for something we believe in. Let's say you're a Christian and the Muslim don't believe in the Christian cause, but you are asking for donation to build a church from the Christian. You are free to do that. Your freedom stops only when you come with a sword or gun or any violent mean to subjugate me or my neighbor or anyone else and tell him, if you don't become Christian or if you don't become Muslim or what, if you don't become Buddhist, you must pay me tribute or I kill you. At this time, it's my obligation to defend myself and meet your violence at least with similar violence, if not more, because I have to stop you. You're using violence against me. But if they are collecting donations and they are propagating their cause, I don't agree with it. I will not support it. I will not donate to it. But you're free to do that, as I am free to propagate my ideas or my faith or my religion or whatever. Let's say I don't believe in gravity. Right or wrong, it doesn't matter. Let's say I deny gravity. I say I don't believe in gravity, and few people agree with me that gravity does not exist, and they give me money to speak about gravity does not exist. Fine. There's no violence here. So that's my idea. Although I don't agree with any Muslim group, if they want to collect donation peacefully, I'm not against them. So, and be careful, because if we stop one group from doing that, next your group will be targeted, whether you are Jewish, Christian, Buddhist, Hindu. Okay. A request came. I'm going to do something about this Quranic verse. Came from John Stopman about Quran chapter 2, 223. That's a good verse to make a video about, but I will not do it today or even next week, because next week it's going to be about Ramadan, because Ramadan is coming soon. And I appreciate the videos that came from one of the supporter about what's happening in Saudi Arabia concerning Ramadan now. It's good news. Okay. Today's subject about Aisha 6, 9, and 18. We know that she got married at 6, consummated the marriage at 9, and her husband died when she was 18. Now, she lived with her husband for 9 years only. And realistically, I have kids. A child until a boy or girl, probably until 14, they don't have anything in their head about sex, probably. Hardly any. They don't have the feeling for that. All that's in their head is playing. Or fashion, if they are girls. But nothing. So from 9 until 14, that's 5 years. Probably he is using her sometimes using her for sex, but she cannot process that. She's not into that now. But then when she started to mature at 14, 15, that was awakened. Now, when she is 9 to 14, That's 5 years. He was 59 then. Then he is now 61. Her husband. I mean, the older we get, the less sexual desire we have. So she's going up with her sexual desire, and he's going down. In addition, also when we go older, when we are young, the boys, they look very handsome, very attractive, the girls look very beautiful, but I'm sorry, look at your grandma's picture when she was 18, and look at her when she's 85. Okay, her husband was 61. Even 61, you are not as handsome and good looking as a guy who is 20. And therefore, if you know what she is accused, especially by the Shiite group. Why by the Shiite? Because I gave a video about that before, that the Shiite, they believe that the leader after the death of the founder of Islam should have been his nephew Ali. However, they believe a group of gang of the other followers, that was Omar, Uthman, and Aisha and her father Abu Bakr. They gang together. They believe they killed the Prophet, and they stole the authority, the caliphate. They stole it from Ali. So Shia hate um, Aisha and her father, and the other two caliphate, Omar and Uthman. And therefore, they look for what have been wrong in their lives. And the Sunni admit what happened. However, they try to justify it. But if you look at it carefully, it's not justifiable. Now, they spoke about the killing of Muhammad, the Shia. Now Sunni, they started to admit it. Somebody killed him, but not Aisha. It was a Jewish woman. Anything bad, just hang it on a Jewish guy or a Jewish woman. It was a Jewish woman. Okay, Jewish or not Jewish, that's not the issue today. They accused Aisha of infidelity, that she actually was running around with other boys. And I'm not saying that to accuse Aisha. Honestly, I really cannot accuse this lady, because she was put in a very, very difficult situation. And that situation was, she was raped at the age of 9. That's a rape of a twisted minded person. Any person, that is hard to call him human being. A person 54 years old force himself on a 9 years old child who was clearly shocked to see him naked. Still, he did that with her. He is void of conscience, plain and simple. Okay. Now, she doesn't know what the heck is going on. Later, when she mature, he's going down. She's a young lady now. This is the age of marriage when she was starting to become 14, 15, 16. At this age, they started to marry their kids in Arabia at this time. And the kids start to have sexual desire also at this time. So she had sexual desire at this time, but you have a person who is, I'm sorry, cannot do as much as probably she wants or cannot do at all. Who knows? Add to that that he probably looked so ugly. So what does she do? And she knows when he dies, he told them all of his women, all, cannot marry again. He died, she was 18. This is like death sentence. She doesn't get married, she doesn't have kids. So what she did in the Shiite, excuse me, in the Shiite stories, they accuse her of two people, and I'm not repeating that to accuse her because I feel actually she was mistreated by was so-called husband. So one time he was invading one town with his army, and he was busy with the looting and the booties and the money. And they say she lost her way, and one guy, his name was Safwan ibn al-Mu'attal. I'm going to put it in the description box. Stayed with her the night in the desert, nobody around. She came the next day. Muhammad knew that what she was doing, so he stayed 1 month away from her to make sure that she was not pregnant. And once he knew that she was not pregnant, but he was struggling what to do, and specifically his nephew Ali told him, stone her to death. And he wanted to, but he couldn't. He really loved her, okay? But that's not justifiable love. Uh, 54 years old and 9 years old is just not. This is sickness. Anyway, and then these stories you get it from the Shia. Another guy that he was visiting her home, which, I mean, wealthy people, they have a guest home. So her husband was a wealthy man, and one young man went, he was a guest there. And the story is very strange because if you go to a hotel, for many men, they know that sometimes people have wet dreams, young people specifically. How how can the secretary in the hotel know that when I was a young man, had a wet dream in my room, in my hotel room? So the story is very strange that Aisha saw this young man washing his clothes from the semen, and I mean, people wash their clothes all the time, but it says that she saw him washing semen. And even if I see somebody washing his own semen, I don't need to ask him what is this. And then she told him that the prophet didn't wash it. The prophet just kind of like brush it against each other until it is just sickening. Uh, why do you ask, even if it was true, and you see a young man washing his underwear? Obviously, it's either dirty or something, or you don't need to know that this is semen and tell him, oh, no, you shouldn't do it this way, you do it that way. My opinion, I think there was something between them, and probably something came on his garment. And then he was washing, and she told me, you don't need to do that. And I'm not saying that to accuse Aisha of anything. Honestly, I'm not accusing Aisha. I sympathize with her because this is a woman who was robbed of her youth and of her beauty and of her life by a thief. Okay, we see you next week. We'll speak about Ramadan and what's going on. Thank you very much. We hope to hear from you.